Anti-war groups are getting ready to stage protests in Times Square today. Rosa Flores joining me live now from New York. So Rosa, tell us more about the protests unfolding there in New York.
Yeah, well, those protesters are making their way here to Times Square, and I'm actually here with one of the organizers, Caleb from the International Action Center. And I know that you guys are expecting dozens, if not hundreds, of people here. But first of all, explain to us kind of what is your mission? Why are you guys here?
The last thing we need right now is a new war against Syria. Right now, they're cutting food stamps, hospitals are closing, schools are being shut down. I'll tell you this, and I don't tell this to you as an American.
Eu vou contar uma coisa para vocês, e não enquanto americano,
I tell you this as somebody looking at the world economy,
mas como alguém que observa a economia mundial
looking at what these oil bankers have done to the world.
e observa o que os banqueiros do petróleo fizeram com o mundo.
And I've got to give you some advice.
E eu preciso dar um conselho para vocês.
I've got to humbly urge you.
Eu humildemente peço
Don't give up Petrobras.
que vocês não desistam da Petrobras.
Don't let Rockefeller, Carnegie, DuPont, and Rothschild come into Brazil.
Não
So tell people what BreadTube is, and then tell people how they serve imperialism.
Internet subculture, this internet universe that presents itself as left-wing, that presents itself as socialist or Marxist or anarchist, but is really just a way to rile up young people to associate with progressive causes, anti-racism, workers' rights, and get them supporting the U.S. political establishment against the right wing. And so the more I kind of observe this internet subculture, these people are getting hundreds of thousands, millions of views. They're being promoted by the New Yorker magazine, and they're speaking in the name of Marxism and socialism and leftism. But the essence of what they say is that the United States and U.S. imperialism, they are the good guys against, these authoritarian regimes around the world. They're spreading freedom.
It is really an honor tonight to bring forward our guest of honor, a real hero, someone who deserves to be heard from the heavens. Everyone should hear what this man has to say. Scott Ritter is here. Scott Ritter is here. We are proud that Scott Ritter is here. This is a hero. This is a hero right here. We love you, Scott. We love you. Go ahead and give us some words.
Thank you very much.
People in the United States are suffering. Our water's not being purified. Our railroads are falling apart. Our power grids are falling apart. And yet we pour more and more weapons and money into some stupid confrontation with China. China is not our enemy. 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 Get out of our country. Stop trying to sell war in our country. Stop trying to sell war in our country. We don't want a new war with China. We love America and we don't want a new war with China. China is not our enemy.
I don't believe what's coming out about this chemical weapons attack. I have a lot of questions about it. There are a lot of facts that just aren't adding up. And we've heard about weapons of mass destruction before. There's so many lies to take us into war. We don't need a new war. We need jobs, schools, education, and not a new war against the Syrian people. And these rebels that our government and our tax dollars are paying for, they're not good folks, and they're doing awful things there in Syria, and we should not be supporting these rebels in Syria.
It's pretty clear that they are getting propped up by one wing of the establishment. Now, in the book, I go into the evidence of that, but then we have further evidence of that thanks to the work of Max Blumenthal and the Gray Zone. We now know that one of these voices, Abigail Thorne, was directly being subsidized by the British government, by foundations tied to USAID and to the British royal family and such. So, what I said in the book, based on estimates, right, based on some of the people in the background advising them that I heard about, other things, has now been pretty well confirmed. These folks are basically some kind of psyop to get young people that have socialistic or anti-imperialist instincts and get them to serve the empire.
So you're saying, and you're saying there's evidence to back this up, that there are YouTubers in the political lefty space, and a lot of them. You're saying a lot, not just, but a lot of them, and they're called BreadTube, and you're saying that those people are somehow being co-opted by the intelligence communities to push an agenda?
Sure. I mean, I received quite a bit of information about who was advising them. There's an individual who's tied to military psychiatrists who appeared on CNN calling for mass deprogramming of the country after January 6th. And there are other things that point to some kind of covert support, the mainstream media highlighting some of these people and celebrating them. And then their foreign policy stances could come directly from CNN. And then we have that great report that was done by the Gray Zone. And
FBI, Fred Hampton in his bed was being gunned down. Well, in the DPRK, they welcomed a delegation from the Black Panther Party and said, "We love the Black Panthers. They're fighting for national liberation." They loved the Black Panther Party while this government murdered the Black Panthers. So we took inspiration from Kim Il-sung, from Marx, from Lenin, from all the people struggling against imperialism. Basic things. People have the right to a job. They have the right to education. But this system spends money on war, on murder, on killing. And U.S. out! 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 U.S. Red Dawn is a lying war propaganda film. This is a lying war propaganda film. Korea wants peace. Korea wants peace.
I spent 13 days on a ship chartered by the Red Crescent Society of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The ship was called the Iran Shahid, and it was loaded with over 2,500 tons of humanitarian aid for the people of Yemen. The boat had nothing on it but medical supplies, flour, canned food, and water. All of them were volunteers from the Red Crescent Society of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they wanted to get to Yemen, a war-torn country on the Arabian Peninsula, and help the people in need. We departed from Bandar Abbas, a port city in southern Iran.
The day we were scheduled to arrive, they bombed the port of Hodeida 8 times in a single day. 8 times to prevent us from delivering medical aid. And we were unable to complete our mission. We were forced to go to Djibouti. And blocking humanitarian aid is a crime against humanity. It is illegal to block humanitarian aid. And we were completely open to having the ship inspected.
We are proud to have guests from that organization here today to show that we are not afraid, we are not intimidated, and that we offer nothing but unequivocal full support and solidarity to them while they're under attack. Please stand up, comrades. Come on the stage, please.
Fist up! Fist up! Fist up! Fist up! Fist up!
Though Martin Luther King Jr. was shot down and killed for his brave, dedicated work, after his death, he has been reduced to a harmless patriotic icon. School children throughout the United States are now taught that MLK is proof that the United States is, quote, the greatest nation in the world. I say you're not a revolutionary unless you recognize that black people constitute a nation, and that as a nation they have the right to self-determination, to choose separation or integration for themselves. But the United States is far bigger than that. In the heartland of the United States, what Sarah Palin demagogically called the real America, there are millions of young people who are very unhappy. The U.S. economy has been wrecked by deindustrialization. The steel mills, auto plants, and other good-paying industrial jobs have been eliminated. First County was being smashed. They were lining up all of the communards and executing them one by one and then dumping their bodies into shallow graves. Among the communards, there were some of them that had the idea to do this as they were being shot. So they'd stand there and put their fists like this. And then their body would be dumped into shallow graves. And then rigorous mortima would take effect. And those who had shot them looked on in horror as the fists came up out of the ground. That's what the fist stands for. That's the origin of that salute. I say now is the time not to fight to make America great again. Now is the time to fight for American rebirth.
American rebirth!
American rebirth!
American rebirth!
American rebirth!
American rebirth!
Russia was with us in the fight against the Nazis in World War II. At the moments when America shows its true colors and is standing up for justice and truth, you'll notice that we're standing with Russia. We need a program that says equal rights for immigrant workers. We need a program that says end police brutality. We need a program that says stop the cuts in food stamps. We need a program that says hands off our schools and universities. We need a program that includes health care for all, jobs for all, education for all.
They're about to arrest! They're about to arrest! The people in the Bank of America! The people in the Bank of America! What are we gonna do about it? What are we gonna do about it?
Shame! 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 Shame!
It's not about Democrat versus Republican. It's not about a liberal program or a conservative program. It's about the banker program versus the people's program. That's what's going on.
I want to present to you the International Solidarity and Truth Award. This is the Center for Political Innovations Award we are giving to Tara Reid for actions in defense of international truth and solidarity in the pursuit of peace and justice. This is great.
Russia is not our enemy. Russia is not our enemy.
Hoy ya en Estados Unidos hubo la primera marcha, la primera movilización en Nueva York. Allá se movilizaron los movimientos sociales.
Speaking on behalf of the Center for Political Innovation, I was sent here on behalf of Caleb Maupin.
One point must also be made on behalf of the board of directors, and this is that Caleb Maupin is our ideological leader. CPI is the result of Caleb Maupin's vision for building an organization, and we recognize his unique approach to building 21st century socialism.
Last year, in a particularly cold winter, we saw the power grid here in Texas collapse, leaving all kinds of working families out in the cold. We love America, but Wall Street does not love America.
China, peace with Russia, peace with 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 China. Peace with Russia, peace with China.
I would say that there's a lot of Americans right now who are saying, we're tired of this shit. There's a lot of Americans right now who are looking at years of student debt just for going to college, and they're saying, we're tired of this shit. And there's a lot of working class Americans who are looking at their communities with crumbling roads and crumbling infrastructure and empty foreclosed homes, and they're saying, we're tired of this shit. There's a lot of Americans who are looking at this prison-for-profit system and this opioid epidemic created by doctors being pushed to overprescribe dangerous medications. They're saying, we're tired of this shit. They're seeing their relatives come home from wars overseas, scarred with trauma for the rest of their life. They're saying, we're tired of this shit. And then, when they hear our politicians come forward and instead of offering us real solutions, offering us more of their political pornography, they're saying, we are tired of this shit. We're tired of it. Are we not tired of it? New York City was an interesting place to adjust to, but I got a good word of advice. A good word of advice from somebody who'd lived in New York City a long time. And they said, you know, if you ever go to New York City, be really, really, really careful, especially if you go down by Wall Street. Be really, really careful if you're walking down by Wall Street. You know, look over your head, be careful where you step, because those motherfuckers are going to be jumping any day now. Thanks, folks.